when it comes to tracking your income and your goals, it's very important to make sure that you, of course, keep on track of everything that you need to, and you understand what your profit line is, what income you've got at the start of the month, what your income is as you're going through the month, and keep on track. I never used to do this, and then since I've been using this spreadsheet, I've used it for a whole year. Last year in 2023, I used it for a whole year, and it literally helped me stay focused, not just me, but my team as well. So I'm, of course, can't show you my own because it has private information on, but I want to show you this one here, which I will give you a link to get as a template. Now, this is what we use as our goals calculator. So every month, at the beginning of a month, I will prepare this spreadsheet. And it's just basically a copy of each one. So I basically just copy it each time. And as you can see here, it might look a bit confusing at the minute, but it won't be once we start going. Then we've got this little income tracker here, which keeps track of the income coming through each time as well. And then you've got this expenses bit here, which still haven't removed my own, so hang on. Here we go. So you've got this expenses bit and then a little tracker here to keep an eye on things that might be coming out as well. So I'm just going to show you this and how we would potentially use this. So first things first, what you would do is you would come in here and you would decide on which categories you want to track your services. And you would put them in here where it says service name. So for instance, it might be that you want to track your income for a particular service you've got, like it might be a group program. This one could be, you might do SEO services or something like that. So you might put that in there. Affiliates and courses, maybe something like that. So what we have for ours, just to show you, is we have marketing services, retainer packages, project work, power hours and audits, affiliates and courses. That's what we track all our income within. We track everything within one of them categories. So you would basically fill that little bit out in the spreadsheet itself. And the next step, what I would recommend you do, is actually put the expenses in that you know are going to come out that month, okay? So what expenses is it? So like for instance, you might know you've got Trello and it costs you £10. You might have MailerLite as an email marketing system and that costs you £10. Then you might have it so that you actually have a proposal system, which might be £25 a month. You might be part of a membership, which is £47 a month. And you might currently be, you might have just, you might be planning on buying a course that is going to cost you, £997. And other things could be stuff such as, an accountant or a bookkeeper that you might have to pay. Or it may be that you know that you are needing to pay this month out something else. So you might have a credit card, for instance, that you pay something off monthly. Anything that doesn't come under a course or membership or a software cost. And then what I would do as well is take a look at all your things that come out quarterly or yearly, and I do this as a reminder. So I've left mine in just to show you on this video. So I have Active Campaign come out every year. We have Zoom come out every year. We have Placetia come out every year. Vimeo, Gravity Forms, and I put how much it's going to be and what date it is that that's going to come out. Just as a little reminder, so that when I'm doing my expenses every month, I can keep track of that. And then if we go back to the goal spreadsheet, I want to show you what's now happened. So in this expenses column here, what you can see has happened is it's automatically populating based off what's come through here. So because software had £45 in, that's as 45. So if I added another software cost in for 50, then it automatically changes. So what I would do every single week on a Monday, religiously, I go through my expenses and what has come out of my bank and I update this. So I basically have everything that I think is going to come out. So at the start of the month, it might look like this. And then as more things come out of my bank, I add it onto this spreadsheet. I actually colour mine green just to say that it's come out of the bank, because obviously that might not come out of the 1st. This might not come out till the 20th. So I don't highlight it off till I know it's come out of the bank kind of thing. So that's how that bit is filled in. And then the other part under the expenses, you can see I've got employee 1 and employee 2 and own income. So these green fields are auto-calculated in the additions here, and that's something that you have to manually put in. So the white ones, these are automatically populated, and these greens you can add in. So for you might have an employee, you might have VAs that you need to pay out. You may have something like a pension that you pay into. So you can put something that comes out in there as well if you wanted to. Personal I do on mine, I use this for all my employees' expenditure. I put all that listed on there, my PAYE, the pensions and what the staff get paid in here. And that comes up with your total expense figure. So if I had like £500 in here, you can see the expense figure changes. So this is how that little expense section works there. Now, this bit here, the net profit, this is basically calculating what your profit could be if you hit your goals. So in here, I've got a goal revenue of 7,000. And if my expenses were this much, then that means my net profit would be 3,761, which would be a 53% profit margin. So where does this total monthly revenue goal come from? Now, this comes from the right-hand side here, where we've got the revenue goals for each service. So you would basically put in for each service how much you need to achieve that month to hit your targets. And you can basically play around with it until you get to the value that you need to do. So if you knew that you needed to hit like a 4K month, for instance, let's just say you need to be earning £4,000. So it may be your service one, which is your power hours, for instance, your one-to-one work. You know that you need to sell, you need to earn about £500 and about £100 each. So that would mean you need to create 5 of them sales. And then you might have another service, which is something like a coaching package. You might have a coaching package retainer. Okay. So you know that you need to get maybe one person on that retainer. And that's going to be, it costs £500 for someone to be on it. So you need to get 2 people on it. Or it might be that it's actually £1,000 for one person. So you just need to have one person on that. And then again, you would go into your other service. So this might be a course. So you might have a cheap course and you just actually want to get £100 a month off that for this month. And the cost is £10, for instance. So you need to sell 10 courses. And then you may have another one. And you can see this value is changing on the left-hand side here as I'm basically putting the details in. So that's automatically changing for us. So you can, and obviously if you don't need to use all these service boxes, we can just zero it out like that. And it's not going to take it into consideration at all. And it may be, I'm just going to put 900 in there, just so it shows 3,000. And you can see now the profit is showing a minus. So this will help you in working out, right, I always do expenses first, because then you know how much money you need to earn, and then work out the goal accordingly. So obviously the first goal for me would be to break even. So if these are my expenses, I'll probably want to earn about 3,500. So I'm just going to put £600 into that service box just to correct it. I need to break even on that month. So then after I've done that bit, what I would do, I'd set my goal intentions in here for the month. So obviously 3,500, I'm going to be happy. I broke even. If I got £5,000, you know what? I'm going to be really happy doing a big happy dance. And if I got £6,000, I'd be even happier. So now I've got my goal planning all sorted. But also when a month starts, you might already have some clients who are already paying you. So you may actually already have a client who is paying you £1,000 a month. So what I would do for this service name, so this will be the second box here. I will put when I send you these templates, like this is service name 2. And that will be service name 2 like that, okay? So if I put in here that Joe Blogs, I already have Joe Blogs, and they pay me £1,000. You can see it's put £1,000 there, but it's also up here put currently booked 1,000. So I know I need 0 people now because I've got £1,000 already in. And what I would do throughout the month, I would actually be adding in the sales as they come in, or I do it on a weekly basis generally. So like this service here, I might have secured someone. So this service is £100. So let's just say we've got Harry Potter signed up. So he's paid me 100. We've got, obviously it's going to have some reference. It might not always be 100. So it might be actually if that person paid 150, for instance. You can pop that in there. It will total it up. And then as you can see, current clients has changed. So current clients has actually changed now. Tell me it's £250 we've got. So we need to get 3 more people at £100 to hit that goal. And this is how this spreadsheet works with you throughout the month. So you would basically populate this. And it's the same for all the rest of them. You've got service bits here. So this is service 3, 4, and then this is for one of the bigger services. So I generally usually have a service, which is my project bit, which is a big long box. I put this over here, but you might not need that. So like if I put 5,000 in there, you'll see it's changed this service here because that one's linked to that. But that will be made obvious on the template. So what happens now, if we scroll further down on here, we've got this little bit here that says actual figure and actual profit. So what I can see from here is my actual figure is 1,250. And that's based off of these current client boxes. So what's currently been booked in here, that is what is basically in there. So 1,250. So let's say, we get another client at 500. You're going to see this change in a minute. That's now changed, okay? And then you can see the actual profit as well. So this is based on the expenses that you've got on here. So the profit, of course, is not enough. So as the month goes through, obviously you're going to be adding people in and you're going to be getting closer to your goal each and every time until eventually you're going to be in a profit. And then by the end of the month, you're going to have this nicely worked out so you know exactly what you earned in each of the services, what your expenses were, what your profit were, and where it happened. So what I would do then at the end of the month is I would basically put all this information into my income tracker. So in the income tracker here, you'll have your service name here. So in January, I would basically just type in how much it was. So if it was £750, I would type in £750. Whatever this was, I would just type it in to match the other one like that. And what happens at the bottom of this, it adds in your total here. And then it also adds in for each one. So by the end of the year, you'll know what service one was 33% of my business. So it kind of works that out for you as well, which is an added bonus. And then obviously what I need to do then is prepare for the next month. So how I would prepare for a new month, just so you know, is I would duplicate my previous page. So, and then I would rename this. So I always put G for goals for February. So I've renamed it. I'll move that one to the beginning, so I want that to be the beginning. And then the January one, what I tend to do is if I now went on change this, so obviously I'm preparing for February. So obviously £50 goes in there. It's added £50 into January, but that wasn't January, that was February, So what we need to do is basically get rid of the formula. So you can see here, this is where it's pulling it from. So if I know that's 45 and I finalised that month, I will just literally type £45 in and all the other figures on them three. And then these are not going to get overridden. So now if I go to expenses and in February, some extra expenses have come out. As you can see, it's not changed it on the January spreadsheet because I've overridden it. And I will just usually drag that to the end. And then now I start using the February one. So you can see the February one's populated and automatic. I'd do the exact same process I've done throughout January. I would generally obviously clear these off because obviously these clients are gone now and get it all zeroed off. My income goals may have changed because actually I want to achieve, I achieved last time. So now I want to go even bigger. So I would change that as well. Another thing that you can do as well is actually duplicate the expenses if you want to keep track of that each month. So for instance, I could duplicate that and name that something like expense Jan 24. Obviously it didn't have that on there and I could put that in there. So I've got the expenses there for January and I've got the goals. So I can always come back and check what anything was like that. I generally do that because I like to keep an eye on both of them. So I can keep an eye on that straight and easy. And then obviously you just keep this one as your default one that you would be populating the current goal spreadsheet. So hopefully that makes sense to you. It honestly has been a game changer for me throughout 2023 and made it super possible for me to achieve the goals that we wanted to achieve. And I'll be using this exact same process throughout 2024. So thank you very much for watching. We'll pop it in the description, a link to actually access this template as well. And if you've got any questions, fire them over. And additionally, please subscribe, like the page to let us know that you enjoyed this.